I'll leave that on. So, okay. So, Mr. Leiremans, Bengt Leiremans, you turned out to be a legend. Right camera, that's me. Perfect. Okay. So, I have to say a few things about Bengt. He showed up here without telling us who he was, and he wanted us to make sure that we will know him through his writing skills, which were unbelievably amazing. And I'm not cutting anyone's ears, because I'm not, in general. I am a grumpy old man. When I see something, I just say it. And I wanted to interview him to see what it takes to reach a writing level like this. Not to mention that he is a beta guy, responsible for sales and promos, and then he will explain everything. Away from beta, he has a lot of trials, knowledge and technique and history to share, and a lot of motocross. So, ladies and gentlemen, Bengt Leiremans. So, starting with the questions now, Bengt, how did you get into enduro riding in the first place? Why was it that hooked you into the sport?
Well, it all started in the 80s when I was watching some motocross on television. And this was something I remember as a kid being so spectacular and amazing to watch. But I had no relatives whatsoever. Nobody, no family, no friends, nobody, in my neighborhood, so I could only watch it on the television. Yeah, we are in Greece and people are shouting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm telling them to shut up. You say something about the 80s. I need to know how old are you?
I'm born 76, so I'm now 48. I will be 49 in July.
Still a baby.
I'm close with your age, huh?
Yeah.
Just a little behind.
Yeah, in order to become my age, you need to add VAT and tax. So, okay.
But there was no, let's say, I'm born in the north of Belgium. I live in the north of Belgium. So there is no there are no mountains behind our house like we do in Kampala.
Talking about
there's
flatlands, old Belgium,
Yeah,
like
but the south of Belgium is quite steep. There are steep hills. So there's more enduro riding. But where I live, let's say there are no enduro races. There's just motocross. That's why when I started, I began with motocross. There was no enduro riding. Also for that age, it's not as simple because driver's license and everything. So first love motocross.
okay. Was it the trials scene back then? Was it something big and you ignored it, or it was just motocross because of the action and the legends you were exposed to?
Yeah.
Because Belgium has legends showing
Yes.
in the scene, right?
Yeah. That's a fact. So Belgium has the most amount of world titles in
Yeah.
motocross. And I think the trial scene was a little bit popular in maybe also in the 80s. There was one Belgian guy, Eddie Lejeune. He was world champion also a few years. But then afterwards, trial just almost disappeared in Belgium. And there was one motocross track in Genk in Belgium, which is also very nice and has some history in world championship races in the 90s especially, and also in the year 2000. And there is also a trials scene. So I always, when I went riding at a race in Genk, I always would see it a little bit. So it was in the back of my mind, but it was too far away at that time.
Okay, looking back right now, for example, 20 years ago, or maybe even 10, because I don't think you reduced your riding, you probably increased it. Do you have any memorable things to share with us? Any, for example, like winnings or participations or I don't know what?
Oh, I have a because I raced, I think around 800 races in my life.
800 races. I am on the bike. Approximately 150 days a year. This guy is racing 3 times. my, my
But this is yeah, but this is in a long period of time, of course. So the nicest memories are the ones where you could win out of a lost position, let's say, where you're the last lap or the last corner. These are the most fun memories. Besides that, also the nicest memories are the ones from the beginning when I started riding. And remember, I told you there was no help coming from so me and my father, and we had like we were the opposite of being professionals.
yeah,
The opposite. So we
That's-
did all we
that-
had.
that's the same with me, I guess. I got on the bike without having a motorcycle history in the family. My father showed me one day when I'm on a doodle bike, and I said, "What the hell is that?" So
Yes, I think it's a little bit similar. My father also brought me a bike when he was doing the road. He was always buying and selling things,
yeah.
and then he brought for me and my sister. I also have a sister, and he brought two
I
bikes.
have to say that his sister is riding as well, right?
Well, she was when she was younger. Now it would have been good if she kept on riding. I think she would have been more happier.
Yeah.
I will tell her.
Okay, so let's go a little bit to explain to our audience, for example, physical training. We do realize that in order to be good in what we do when it comes to enduro riding, motocross riding, we need to do have a nice physical status, right?
Yes.
And when I say nice physical status, I mean, do you consider going to the gym like every day or every 3 times a day, or you follow a certain program, or you do just keep your body in shape, or do you do something about it?
Well, now I'm lacking when I stopped, let's say, the races some 10, 15 years ago.
Let me
I'm
interrupt
still
you.
riding.
He's lacking the physical training, and we were
Yes.
lucky because he's lagging, because he claims to be slow in our extra fast sessions.
But what I always think is the most important thing is the cardio, so the heart rate, so things you get from running, cycling, swimming. That's a little if you can do that. So and then is the gym, because I mean the muscular. Okay, it all goes together, and also the riding the bike is very specific because you have people with bad let's say physical conditions.
Yeah.
You would put them through a test, but you put them on the bike and they seem to be fine because they don't use as much energy
Okay.
on the bike. But the main thing is the cardio for me, always has been.
Yeah, the breathing has to be very practical in helping you. You have to keep your breath and you have to perform. I think people that don't ride can't understand how hard it is to control the motorcycle on demanding situations, and they think that they will just go on the bike and the bike will do its job and take you there, but it's completely the opposite, right? I mean, you need to perform, you need to pull, to push, to balance. How important is balance? how much the trials help you improve your riding?
Well, it improved my enduro riding a lot. I would say the motocross has a different kind of balance because you keep your balance a lot through the speed you have. Like in a corner, you lift, you bend over, you till over, let's say, and then your speed compensates the gravity. But when for enduro riding, it's very important to have a balance without speed, and this is where the trial and the motocross is very far apart.
Mm-hmm.
So I would say people coming from motocross to trial is very difficult, as I encountered.
Mm-hmm.
From trials to motocross would be a little bit more easy.
Okay.
And the enduro, what we like, you and me, the free riding, that's a little bit in between, that has a little bit of everything.
Yeah. I did a terrible mistake last week, and we had in Kavala one of the most spectacular motocross races around the Balkans. And I had no idea it was going to be in such a professional level. If I knew about that, I would definitely call you to come and race it. It was fantastic. I was thinking about you all the 2 days. I say, what a stupid thing I did. You should go there with the RX. We would bring an RX for you. Also, Beta won that one on a 300. Yes, our rider aced it on the two-stroke RX. It was a fantastic weekend, and it was actually, I did realize how hard it is to keep in that track for 10, 12, 20 rounds doing exactly the same and the same, being chased and chasing others. So I consider this sport to be, though, completely different than enduro. It needs a lot of different approach, doesn't it?
Yeah, so the intensity is also very high. Just monitor it with a polar or with a heart rate monitor, and you will see how high the heart rate is from the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
And the focus, of course, is because it's let's say shorter than enduro races,
Mm-hmm.
but the intensity is higher.
Yeah.
And you're also surrounded by riders, which is in enduro most of the time you're not riding as close to each other.
Are you using the heart meters and stuff? Do you get any benefit from watching your heart rate or your calories? Let's say, what is important for you to watch?
Well, I always trained with a heart rate sensor because it shows it's just it's a very good way of linking to, because you get a sense of how low your heart rate, the lower the better, let's say. And it's for example, it won't be easy to reduce your heart rate with 20 beats per minute, let's say, but you can, if you can reduce it with 10, let's say the same speed, 10 less. And also what's very important is the heart rate in the morning.
Okay. So I was discussing about the motocross and everything, and the trial scene and everything, and I have to ask, did you travel a lot? Did you go around the globe doing travels for riding? And it was motocross, trials, enduro. What was it? Give me a short brief.
Yeah, it was mostly motocross because I did that from '87 until 2010. 87. And in the '90s I was doing 4 years of World Championship motocross. So I traveled all around Europe, but it's not really traveling, I always say, because you have to leave as late as possible and come back as soon as possible. So I've been in many places, but just for the motocross, let's say, not really visiting. And then in the 2004, 2, 3, 4, 5, I did European Championship, again in Europe, of course, as the word says. And then I did some races for enduro in Spain, in Liesberg, in Luxembourg, in Germany, and trial races only in Belgium so far. I won in Spain as well.
Yeah. How do you adapt? I mean, what are you expecting? How do you deal with the changes in the terrain. For example, you said that it's flatlands in Belgium, little bit of mountains in the north, for example, but then you go to a vast Spain and you see all that mountainous area with the rocks and everything. How do you adapt? Do you need to practice in the terrain, or you just put it in your mind and you just hit it?
Well, in the beginning, it's very difficult because we are not used to the gravity, like as again north of Belgium and Holland, which is very close. It's all flat, so it takes some, the computer up here.
Yeah, yeah.
Computer doesn't know in the beginning, so you need you need a lot of practice, and it's not the second nature. What I found, like for example in Kavala, I found like the best of both worlds for me because it has it has the sandy surface a little bit, the forest surface, and it has the rocks and the big mountains as well.
Yeah,
So, but I always feel more at home when it's a little bit sandy because this is where I grew up, and feel like it's more safe, let's say. Feels more safe.
Riders from our city in general are practicing in a terrain which is very diverse. I mean, you can get from all the way down to the sand terrain of Spain, Italy, to the mountainous terrain of the Balkans with muds and rocks and everything. And you have to, for example, fix your tires, fix your bike, fix your carburetor, because we are carburetor guys, and you need to be ready for a variation of terrain. So it comes to the technical part now, and I have to ask you, do you have any preferences, for example, on tires? Soft, medium, hard, some, let's say, brand do you like, some mousses, tube, low pressure? What would you do, I mean, if you wanted to be flexible in the enduro riding scene?
I've always preferred more softer tires, also in motocross. I don't like to ride with a high pressure. You would only do that for safety reasons. Again, in enduro, everybody's using a mousse or some kind of mousse. So I have good experience with Mitas, with X-Grip.
That escalator does the job, right? But
Yes,
I found it lately that in the wet terrain the escalator doesn't help you day one. You need to wear it a little bit in order to be able to use it, because it has some sort of wax on the surface that it needs to be worn off to start performing. But once you go in the performing area, for example, it can take you in places without any knobs at all. It can be like 0 knobs, like 2 millimeters left, and it will take you there. While at the beginning, when it's brand new, you see it slipping a little bit on the wet, on the rocks and everything, and it needs to be weared off. Is it something you share as a thought, or you like it anyway?
Well, I haven't been riding it as
Oh, the escalator?
when it's that worn as you are.
X-Grip?
So I will try that. I will try, but
it's an extra
always,
soft. It's very, very soft. Now we did get the Plius here. There is a company importing them and their friends, and they wanted us to check the tires. So they have the Plius tire, the tough one, which is plus 15 millimeter knob height, which is like it gets weared off slowly and not that much, but the compound in the tire and the design of the tire is helping you a lot from day one. And this is the difference that I found with Jack the Gripper medium and soft and with the escalator, is that you need to wear those tires to start performing, while the Plius takes you there since day zero. I mean, you put it on, but you need to use it with an extra soft mousse, because you need the shape to be different when you use it. How important is the tires for you? I mean, I saw you riding with a terrible tire when you were here with that, and you did exactly the same things with the same easiness that you would
were
do.
boycotting me.
Yeah.
You were boycotting me, so not to make it.
I had to find a way to slow you down. You know, you were too fast. I needed to find a way. Was tying you up with a rock and a chain, carrying it, or actually, if you want to slap someone for this, you have to do Aris, slap him on the face, because he said, hey, it's dry, who needs a tire, it's okay, you can go with this. Sorry.
Well, it's all about confidence at the end,
Yeah,
and
yeah, it is.
if you're feeling very confident, a less good tire will still do it. But if you're on the edge
Yeah,
and you know that the tire is in this uphill, let's say, this difficult section, it can make a difference. And if you don't make it,
yeah.
you will blame it on the
Yeah,
tire.
yeah, 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 yeah. There is always the tire, the gravity, earth is round, you know. I have to share a story. When I was young, I was racing cross bikes, and my coach back then, we live in Greece, we didn't have any luxuries and stuff. So he wanted me to get a Bianchi bike with nice tires. Bianchi is now Vita, as I understand. And he was giving me all the best XTR crankshaft and everything. You know, he wanted me to have all the best on the bike, and gave me multivitamins and things to drink, salts and stuff. And eventually, a guy from Russia shows up. He has an iron bike, only 3 gears on the bike. He has very worn-off tires. He's wearing woolen clothes and normal shoes and stuff, and he's acing a 200-kilometer race, and he leaves us like a 5-7 minutes behind gap, and he wins it drinking sour milk. Sour milk, you know, the milk that you cultivate to make it a little bit sour, and water, and he's just stepping on the bike like crazy, and he has those huge legs, and he's so strong, and no technique, just press the bike and disappear. So I guess when you say confidence, this is it, right? To be
Yes.
on the bike.
This story reminds me of the movie Rocky,
Yeah.
with Rocky. But again, then the Russian was the opposite. The
Yeah.
Russian was having all the
Of
technique and
course, if the movie was
yeah,
shot in Hollywood, it had to be
yeah,
like
but
this. But yeah,
making a
the other
mistake.
version. Okay. Any stories to share like this? I mean, did you realize something amazing, unbelievable in front of you, riding among all those legends you've been the last years?
Well, I think it always comes down to who wants it the most.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So, and this changes the whole attitude. To be a to be a winner,
Yeah.
the first thing you must have is you must hate to lose.
Yeah. Yeah.
So if you don't hate to lose, you will never be, let's say, the best.
So is it a way of life not to want to be a winner, just wants to be there with racing or riding or participating?
Yeah, but there is some level of difference,
Mm-hmm.
because I mean maybe all the let's say enduro riders, motocross riders, trials riders who want to do competition have
Mhm.
this kind of desire. But there are people who are content with the podium
Yeah.
or with top 10.
Yeah.
And the best riders, for example, look at Tony Boo.
Oh,
If
Tony
he
Boo,
makes,
yeah.
if he makes one mistake, he will win, but he's still not happy. He's
Yeah.
not satisfied.
Uh-huh.
And this is not easy, but this is maybe the key thing to be the best.
Uh-huh. The enduro scene is changing, isn't it? I mean, we have Alfredo Gomez now. We have new guys showing up. I'm guessing that we have kind of younger guys showing up, showing us much better performance and different techniques. So, is it that we took enduro into a certain level and they were introduced at this level and they are improving it, or something is changing globally? What do you think?
Yes, there is there has been a peak moment where it's because of, let's say, the hard enduro doesn't exist for that long.
Mm-hmm.
In the 80s there was no Erzberg or Romania.
Mm-hmm.
I
Yeah.
think it started around end of the 90s.
Uh-huh.
So it's let's say a good 20 years, 20, 25 years. It's not that long in this world. So I think the level of let's say the spectacular and the way it's been broadcasted
Yeah.
the last year through Red Bull TV and everything. That
It's
there
like
was more.
it's like a motivation, isn't it? I mean, people see what's going on, see people achieving, and you just cut in the chase and they say like, I want to
Yes.
do this, I want to participate, I want to share of this, and you see, I mean, for me, when I was riding, and I was riding a lot, I didn't see people looping the bike or climbing boulders and rocks and logs, and you know, we were safely riding to go home in one piece and be okay. But now I see people doing crazy stuff more and more and more, and it is like putting us into the test, you know. I mean, are we old to keep up with them, or should we try? What happens if we fail and everything? I see younger riders doing extreme stuff, like they were exposed to extreme stuff all the time. I didn't have, you know, contact doing stuff like that. I was passing obstacles, and I never ever thought I could climb that, or I could like hit a water slippery rock, for example. And now I see every weekend on YouTube unknowns doing crazy stuff. I mean, the Americans, for example, you see them like climbing, jumping, flying. They're using motocross technique to fly the bike from big jumps. Then they use enduro technique to do enormous downhills and everything. And you see things getting crazier and crazier, and I am kind of wondering, where do we fit in that that evolution? I mean,
Yeah.
on the viewers area, right?
Well, again, my explanation is it has to do with technique. Let's go back, as I said, 25 years ago. The first races, Erzberg, Romania, were not done or won by real trials riders. They were just enduro riders doing rallies or enduro, or classical enduro.
Yeah.
And you know, classical enduro is a big difference with extreme enduro.
And when you see riders doing the Erzberg on Husenberg 450.
Yes, yes. And in the beginning, on even bigger bikes, I think, as well. And then came guys like Tadej Blazusiak, who was riding quite well in the junior world championship of trials, and he started, let's say, doing the whole thing. Then came Graham Jarvis, and then came the other guys like Johnny Walker, Billy Ball, now Alfredo Gomez as well. He is also. They were all coming from this trial scene. Which didn't happen before, and we're still seeing the consequences of that.
Okay, so let's talk a little bit about our own technique. I mean, I saw you doing crazy stuff. I saw you jumping on cement blocks. I saw you jumping on rocks, doing again and again trials. You didn't skip a log. Every time you saw a log, you were just jumping on. So give us, please, advice on what should a weekend rider do to improve his riding. I mean, what he should stick on, what his plan, his strategy should be in his weekend riding to improve himself.
Well, most of the mistakes are made by only riding in group and or being fast, but there's no time to improve the technique. So you need that time off, like free riding for yourself, where you can train the basic principles, the basic techniques. Small locks, you start small and you get bigger and bigger. But you will see in a while the more difficult things don't work if you don't have the technique.
Yeah.
So, but where you have to start, you have to do it. You have to start somewhere.
Yeah.
There are some simple techniques like doing an 8 corner, like the figure 8.
Yeah.
You can do that. You can do that with every bike, with a trial bike, with an enduro bike.
It sounds childish to ask from someone to do the 8, but how important that is, right? How important on your balance and turning and behaving.
So you can do 8 corners with a rut, let's say, like a motocross corner or enduro corner, but you can also do it with the handlebar, let's say, all fully to the left or to the right. And then without changing the handlebar, it stays in the same position. Then you make like a left turn, left, then you turn the handlebar to the right, and do that without putting a foot down, and you will see how challenging that is.
Would you recommend from someone to just set up a small track with obstacles and get to introduce these obstacles? I mean, put a log, maybe some rocks, and make that in a small round?
Yeah, if you have the place, wonderful.
Okay. And what I do know is that you always say if you see an obstacle, just jump it. Do not avoid it, right?
No, okay, there are limits, as in high, how high.
Yeah, if you see like a
But
building and you want to do it, just don't do it.
yeah, but
Okay.
if you want to be precise, you have to, you have to do it again and again. Huh? Bruce Lee, he said, "I don't fear the man who practices 100 kicks. I fear the man who practices one kick 100 times."
Oh.
And this is the thing: if you keep on hitting the log
Yeah.
that is on the ground somewhere, you okay. When it's not too dangerous, you have to see what's behind it.
Yeah.
But if you avoid it, I also told Dimitris, why are you avoiding it? Remember?
Yeah.
And but I'm not paying attention.
Yeah.
But it's just this makes you better and better.
Yeah. If you avoid, I think then it becomes a habit to avoid it, and when you see it, you are looking for alternative. In our line of work, there is fear, the fear of injury. This is mainly what stops us from doing stuff. And what I'm afraid of all the time is that I have to perform for 150 days, maybe 200 this year, with the group showing up and they're pushing us. They want us to do stuff. They think that we are the best enduro riders on the planet, while actually we are just guides. We take you places, we can show you stuff, but we're not professional racers. I mean, at least I am not a professional racer.
Not yet.
Not yet, and Dimitris is a professional racer for sure. But my problem is that every time, you do it. I say, I do it, yeah. But if something goes wrong, tomorrow you will ride alone. So my main fear is injury, and I have so many on my body. I was talking to my gym guy this morning. He said, how many? I said, I have a cut bicep here and a cut bicep here. I injured my shoulder 2 times. 2 times I went to surgery, had to operate it, and got out of working for like, I don't know, 6 months. Knees are both broken. Left knee is terribly smashed, and I need this sound to stop. Yeah, terrible sound. And it's a tape. And I've been into surgery room so many times trying to fix my body, and every time I fix my body, it takes like a 6-month, 3-month period of rehabbing and doing again and again the same exercises and stuff, and you go back on the work, and it's like starting from zero. You know nothing after an injury. You got on the bike, everything is in pain, the balance isn't working. You have to be reintroduced again in the same status. So what is for you? I mean, what is fear? What does it mean for you? The fear factor.
I think everybody has fear.
Yeah.
I have fear before riding.
Mm-hmm.
I have fear sometimes in the night when when I have a motocross race that I still do from time to time. When I went to the Erzberg in 2013, I was, not sleeping very
completely normal. For me, that's
Yes,
that's the way to do it, because if you're not afraid, something's wrong with you.
and it gives you also the energy, a lot of energy. But the main thing, the important thing is when you're on the bike, that you are 100% in the moment. So the focus, you're in the moment, and there's no time for fear in your mind. But there's also the technique factor, how the track is, if it's really wet, and you do something, a rock that is difficult in dry conditions, don't do it in the wet to show off. You have to feel the environment, of course. So always be very much in the moment, and then there's no time for fear.
Yeah. When we ride, I saw you at the beginning. Everything is kind of stiff. Everything is kind of, I don't know how to say it, slow. But Do you realize that there is a moment after 2 or 3 hours of riding that you become one with the bike, and if you focus enough, it's the moment you say, for example, like you become one with the bike and nothing is ahead of you. You feel like you can do stuff, you know. You pass through obstacles. You are nice in accelerating. What is this? I mean, I could never explain. We call it opening. I opened in Greek. Now I am open. I'm closed at the beginning and now I am open. But is there a way to achieve this? I mean, bring it earlier. I mean, what do you think? Is it something that you realize?
I think it's a lot of the mind again. If you have too much going on in your mind, and but
it's true.
Yeah, what you're saying, actually, I think this is, maybe people don't realize this, but the satisfaction we get from riding bikes, it's similar to meditation or something, I guess, because we want to forget our sorrows, we want to forget all the things we have to do. And Belgium and Greece is very similar. We like to complain about the government, about everything, about the weather in Belgium, maybe in Greece not so much.
I don't like to complain only, it's terrible, I'm telling you. The situation I'm going through with the government and everything at the moment is ridiculous. Ridiculous.
Yes. But I think this thing, the setting the mind free, when this happens, when you open, this is the wonderful thing.
That's my favorite moment when I ride, and it doesn't come very often, you know. It comes when I ride with nice riders like you. I mean, you follow someone and you realize that what he does is exactly what you want to do. You are motivated following him. You know he doesn't make mistakes, so you trust him a lot. So you retain a speed, you retain a distance behind him. You look at his technique and you know what to do. You don't jeopardize, you know, you don't experiment. You see him throttling and going up, you say, I'm going to throttle and go up. No. So eventually you become one with him, with the bike, and you make a total that makes you feel like superhuman. I mean, that feeling is amazing. It's unbelievable, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's crazy.
That's 100% true.
Yeah.
And,
what was the best guy you followed?
Again?
What was the best rider you followed?
Oh, in all my life, you mean?
Yeah, I mean, what was the legend that motivated you to go like crazy and stay behind him and say, whoa? I mean, it's not Graham Jarvis, because he doesn't get followed by anyone.
Well, I miss a little bit riding with like Paul Bolt, and I wanted to contact him before some time. Maybe Alfredo Gomez would have been, but I have more experience in the motocross, with Stefan Everts and Joel Smets at the area.
I am in contact actually with Alfredo Gomez for September. We may make a training course here. I'm thinking of setting up a track up in the cabins and make like a training camp for 15-20 people. 4 hours training, lunching, and 4 hours real-time riding with him. It's something in the process. Do you think these actions help, actually? Do you think they improve your riding skills? You have something to earn.
For sure, because his level is, compared to mine, even a lot higher. Because his trial techniques is second to none. He's one of the best, actually, in the real trial technique sector. But I think he missed out a little bit of speed. Like some guys like Johnny Walker, Billy Bolt have a lot more speed, have more speed, not a lot more, have more speed, and this makes the difference. But I think pure technique wise, I think Alfredo is also one of the best, and for sure it helps a lot. One story only I have to say is that what happens sometimes when the difference is very big, the level, the people, they start looking instead of trying. So you have to make sure that the one who's guiding or is teaching, in this case, is also has possibilities to shift his mindset to the one from the one with no experience.
This is something I'm very weak at. I cannot transfer what I want to transfer to the other guy. I'm very, very weak, because probably it's an expression fault. So, talking about the enduro, you've been traveling a lot, haven't you? I mean, you've been into places. Can you share a little bit of experience? I mean, what should riders expect if they travel to, for example, the north, Romania, or which places have you been, for example?
Well, I've been in Romania as well. I've been Germany, France, Spain, Portugal, Tenerife. My last ride was in Tenerife. And this is also very nice, close with the sea, very dry. A lot of grip, however, but no, there's almost no rain, so it's always a little bit dusty.
Dusty, for example, like real dust to annoy you, or it's okay?
Well, in single tracks it's not bad, but if you're on bigger roads, it's very difficult. You need some wind to go to the left to blow the dust away. But and
was it kind of demanding? I mean, did you find things to challenge yourself in Tenerife?
There are a lot of barrancos, it's called. It's the valleys where the water comes off, because it's a big, it's like a pyramid, the island of Tenerife. So in those barrancos, it's really nice.
Open throttle and just go, or technique?
It's quite technical. No, it's quite technical. There are some faster sections, but it's more technical riding than you would imagine. And then I was in Kavala, which again I liked very much because of the mix of terrain surfaces and being in Greece in the same time. What more can you ask for?
I think you're talking about the food, General.
yeah, the food, the people, the beach. And Romania also was quite a big experience for me, because it's amazing how high the mountains they keep on going.
It's unbelievable.
And this is something you don't encounter in other places like Portugal, Spain. You have big mountains, but you can see the top and there it ends. But in Romania,
it continues going. It's crazy.
It just keeps on going.
Yeah, but there are some, wildlife and stuff that is like unbelievable in Romania. You go back in time. Also in Greece, as I saw. I mean, I'm comparing a lot. I myself traveled to Iceland, and I've been into Mexico, and I've been into I don't remember what was Canada, Seattle, those places. But for me, my heart belongs to Italy. If you tell me to travel somewhere, I have to say that the area of Tuscany, higher in Pinerolo area, where the Tyrolese live, and you see the Mont Blanc and everything, that place is like Romania, though it has a different setup. It's kind of higher mountains, open fields. You just travel, and you don't know in which country you are. But that's what I like with Greece. It combines almost all of these terrain, and if you're going to go high, you go high. It's not endless, of course, but you can go high in higher areas. But the sea, riding next to the sea, and the different forests is something to be amazed of. So anyway,
I think Greece up until now has not been on the map for enduro riding.
Yeah, there is a reason for that, unfortunately.
Yes, but I think maybe it's a good time now to change that.
Yeah. We will try.
We have a lot of let's say all of Western Europe have a lot of problems with the green people, with the government not being able to ride. Also in Tuscany, what you say, Italy, because Beta Motor is also located in Tuscany, a little bit on the other side. But I hear a lot more and more problems and restrictions. So I
have to state that it's totally wrong, because they take the politics of Germany mainly, which they just forbidden people to be in the woods for their own reasons. But there are properties. It's all private. Here in Greece and in Italy, all the land is public, so it belongs to the people. And I think there is room for everybody in the mountains, and I kind of can sign a contract with everybody that the bikes are not causing any trouble to the mountain at all, after being 15 years on the seat, more than 4,000 hours on the seat of an enduro bike guiding riders. I say that when you want to take people on the mountain and experiment your riding and going into places and stuff, even racing doesn't harm the woods, as the marble factory does, as the hunters do, as the beekeepers do, as the people who don't respect the mountain, as everybody who is using the mountain without any observation, anybody else looking at him, he will destroy it. Us, the riders, in order to be riding on the mountain, we want the mountain to be intact, to be perfect, to keep it, preserve it. So no one can blame us for ruining the mountains, and this is what I'm talking with the government these days, making a lot of papers and emails and stuff to the Ministry of Environment here. I'm just telling them that enduro is not killing the mountain, and this is a statement I need to expand and say to everybody. Let's hope it changes, because I think it's a very, very good sport to keep on doing it. So news on Beta. We need a lot of news on Beta. Give us news. What do we expect this November in EICMA? You know things from the inside. As long as you can share it, please share it.
Yeah, I cannot share everything, but almost everything. So we spoke a lot about trials.
Yeah.
We get a lot of new trials, completely new bike. It's not going to be called Evo anymore.
Mm-hmm.
So we had for 14 or 15 years Beta Evo.
Mm-hmm.
Beta Evo, we say in Flemish. Now it's going to be a new name, but the name is not known yet. So I don't even know. It's not that it's a mystery. It's which is a good thing, because also for our enduro things to trial bike.
Let me ask you something. What about this electric stupidity that we're living these days?
I would say it's only good for practice in places where no sound is allowed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Inside your living room, if you live in an apartment, for example. But will they move on into something electric, or we will keep the nice carburetor stuff?
We will keep the carburetor stuff for sure. There's no, I don't see any. I'm not aware from Beta that they're gonna continue. I have to pick some. The DHL is here with the shipment from
Okay, yeah,
from
go.
Beta. Wait, that will ring in 2 seconds. Our little dog is warning me that no, it's not that I'm fully against it, in the sense of, because maybe more riders who will get to know the sport of enduro, of trials, and motocross. But I don't like it personally.
So
normally they come a little bit later, but I knew they were gonna bother me.
Yeah, it's Murphy's Law. If you have something to do, they will come earlier for sure. So the electric future of Beta, is it like not happening, or it's limited? I purchased for my son an electric kids enduro. It was very, very nice, very friendly, very productive. Are they having any plans of working in the electric industry, for example, motorcycles? So
far, there's not going to be a lot of.
This is why I love them, actually.
Yes. I think they have the hands full of the the enduro bikes. They have 2 strokes. They have 4 strokes. Yeah. There's the trial scene with 5 bikes. We have the road bikes as well, 50cc, 125.
Yeah. Are the 4 strokes evolving this year? Should we expect any changes on the 4 strokes this year?
This year there will be improvement, and also on the train, the 125 to 200. I think the 300 will stay more or less the same as engine-wise. But from next year on, so model year 2027, there's going to be some new capacities. And this year we're already having 2 new capacities in the motocross bike, the RX 300. there's a RX 250 two-stroke and a RX 350 two-stroke.
352 stroke. Wasn't
Yes.
it supposed to be an enduro bike?
Yeah. Maybe it will. Yeah.
Man, when I heard about the 352 stroke, I'm like, what? Well, we're going back into the future? I mean, it's crazy. It's like committing suicide with a motorcycle instead of racers. 352 stroke. I mean, why? You need the extra horsepower?
I think it's for the real men. You know?
Real men commit suicide with a 350. I agree. Yeah.
You know, the days of the Honda CR500 and KX500 that was actually over. But there's still a lot of people who desire this.
Yeah.
Not the biggest market ever, but
I did hear from my friends in the United States that they're bringing the Kawasaki's two-stroke into the motocross scene. So I think they want to be ready for something like that, right? 350?
yeah.
Yeah, crazy. Alp? How is Alp doing? I mean, is it something that will hit the on-off market? What do you think?
Well, I think it's doing reasonably good. I was on Sunday. I was in Bilstein. This is like the only legal off-road area we have in Belgium. And I saw a lot of this is trials enduro, and also I saw a lot of Alps riding.
Oh, perfect.
Doing less difficult things, but you know.
I actually loved it. I did adore it. I mean, I saw it here a couple of times, and I had the chance to ride on it. It's a very nice bike on-off.
It's very nice. Yeah. If you look up a trials bike from the 80s,
yeah,
you look
it's the
see
same.
a lot of resemblance.
Yeah, a lot of resemblance. Are they going to throw into the market something to compete? The new Chinese invasion from CF Moto and Kove. You saw a lot of 450, 650, 800cc bikes coming in the market on-offs, which are more rally oriented. I mean, shouldn't Beta go and throw a bike into the market? I mean, they do have the technology, don't they?
They have the technology. They also have a strong connection with Zontes, which is also a big player in the Eastern market.
Yeah.
They do this. They work together with Zontes for German-speaking language countries like Germany, Austria, also Italy itself. So I've been hearing it's in the pipeline, but it's not.
I'd love to see a rally-oriented four-stroke.
Yes, me too.
But it would take a double cylinder, a twin cylinder motor. I mean, they should move on and have another motor for the market, like a twin. It's my imagination of seeing a Beta, because Beta is Beta, and once they hit that market, I think it's a win-win situation.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
For sure. But it's also a little bit double, let's say, because the capacities have all decreased.
Yeah.
Let's say in 20 years ago, I was riding a 550 four-stroke enduro 600, and now everybody's on a 250 or on a 350 four-stroke. You understand? So in that case, yeah, they have a 480, which I think is gonna be would be a very good platform.
Yeah.
Yes.
Good.
Vavume.
Yep. So we have 51 minutes of interview. I think it's enough. If you have anything else to cover, that'll be the opportunity to just make an ending interview spot. So I would personally like to say thank you for showing up into the company and introduce you to myself, to the staff here and everybody. It was a wonderful surprise to know you exist and you are inside Beta, and you came to us and you rode with us. You have a lot of things to teach, so I will personally ask in the future, maybe we set up a training camp very, very close. Yes, so I will have to open a platform and ask who's interested to go and make a training session. I'm planning to use the cabins as a base for this, where we will have the sauna and the swimming pool. And in the dead summer, maybe we arrange a 2 or 3 day seminar of improve your skills, do some massage and some exercises and stuff. We will talk about that, and I know you are okay with it because you love to be here.
Yeah.
You love to being with. So if you want to add anything to the conversation, that's your last 5 minutes.
Well, it's the dog is barking
Yeah,
again.
someone else is coming.
Maybe Claudia.
Okay.
No, what I want to ask Claudia, my to-be wife, is Portuguese, but she also loves Greece. We've never been to Kavala yet. Maybe next time I have to take.
She has an open invitation. You now have a room to stay, so don't worry about it. Anytime you
Yes.
want to show up, just show up.
I think what I want to add is we were speaking about keeping mind free,
Yeah.
and I think the cabin is a wonderful thing because we were saying to get open, take some time. When you stay in the cabins, you already start with less in your mind.
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
this is a wonderful
Yeah,
combination.
yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Ladies
I'm
and
looking forward to that.
yeah, it's gonna happen. It's gonna happen very soon because we are ready, 100% ready. This week we're installing the swimming pool with a friend of mine. We're making a deck around it, and in approximately 2-3 weeks we will install a wooden stove sauna for 6 people, a barrel one. And I think adding those two and some bicycles, there is a whole setup to spend the weekend in paradise with good food and everything. So, ladies and gentlemen, this is Bengt Laremans. He's, as I said, a motocross champion, trials enthusiast, maybe even champion as well. Yeah, trials champion. Yeah, you won a little bit of racing.
Winner of races,
Yeah.
but not champion.
And I hosted him January 24, I think. Yep, and he showed me a lot.
25.
25, yeah, 24 of January. 24th of January 25, yes.
Yeah.
And he showed me what to expect. He showed me that no matter what you've seen and no matter what you have done on the enduro, there is always room of improvement, of expanding your knowledge, and the amazing opportunity to make very good new friends in this scene. So the interview is over. Thank you for showing here. Thank you for speaking with us, and thank you for being who you are.
Yes, wonderful. You too.